Leo season, bitches. I fucking love Leo season. It's go big or go home. It's be your most self. It's wear glitter in your pajamas if you so wish. I love it. I'm here for it. And in this episode, I am so excited about the queen who is joining us today. Her name is Cailin Tokarczyk. I got it right. I got it right. I got it right. And she is the sales queen. She is the visibility queen. She is such an amazing person as well. And I became talking about you, her, like you're here, but you get what I'm saying. It's your introduction. Third person is how we do.
Give it to
And
me.
I came across Kaylin on Threads where all these girlies were like, this bitch has helped my business so much. This bitch taught me sales. She taught me confidence. She taught me not to make it feel like, oh, and I was like, who's this? And I was like, girls, I cannot convert a motherfucking sale to tell me your secrets. And like 10 women, 10 baddies came on and like, you need sales baddie, you need Kaylin. I was like, oh, so I trained, then I joined Sales Baddie. We'll go into what that is. And I want to talk more about that. But I am so excited to have you here today, Kaylin. Welcome to my season.
Yay. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Now, can you give me your best lion impression for Leo?
Oh, man. I would just do it kind of like sexy and seductive, like
Let's do it. Oh,
bra bitches. Meow.
see, I'd be such an unsexy lion. I'd be like, "Oh," and you're like, oh,
You
okay.
gotta be like, I feel like lions are kind of seductive too. Like they're bold and in your face, but they also like, they're kind of sexy. They're kind of smooth with
Mm.
it too. So that's my vibe that I'm giving off.
That's, you know what, that is you a better lion. Being, I'm like one of those lions that's been let out and then like accidentally run over because it didn't know which way to go. And I'm just like, anyway. I told you this would be a weird fucking podcast. So
I'm here for it.
I would love you to tell me about you. Like, where did you grow up? Like, what was your childhood like? And I really
Oh,
want to take,
yes.
oh, we start at the
Yes, let's
beginning. Like,
go.
and then I want to go into like, what the hell is sales, Baddie? How did you come up with it? What makes you confident? We're going to talk about visibility. You're so good at that, and just being more of yourself in this world. So let's start with where were you born? What was your upbringing like?
Yes, let's get into this. This is about to be so good too. So I was originally born in Buffalo, New York. And if anyone knows anything about Buffalo, New York, like it is the definition of just like a blue collar town. Like it's honestly like lower middle class, middle class. It's like humble, hard workers, but the nicest people that you will ever meet in your life. And I'm going to get emotional talking about it because my hometown means so much to me and I'm so proud to be from there. But Buffalo is known as the city of good neighbors because literally anyone that you meet there will take the shirt off of their back for you. And that's just the environment that I grew up in, where like everyone is just so welcoming. They'll bring you into their own home, like cook you dinner. Like everyone just wants to be friends. Everyone is just
Wow.
friendly, and everyone is proud. Everyone who's from Buffalo is so proud to be from Buffalo, even if they end up on the complete other side of the world like me. Like everyone who's from Buffalo has just like a sense of pride of
Mm.
being from there. Everyone loves to represent their hometown. And so Buffalo really has this like fun and unique culture of just like people looking after each other and just people just being proud to be from there. But it's very
Wow.
kind of humble town too. It's actually gotten more recognition in the past like 8 to 10 years because of our football team that we have there. And finally, for the first time in my entire life, our football team has been really, really good. Go Bills. And so now it's kind of starting to get more recognition. They're starting to develop it more. It's become a much nicer place than it even was when I grew up there in the 90s and the
Wow.
early 2000s. But it's
Yeah.
still a very humble place. It's blue collar, hard workers who just get the job done, and then they go out for drinks and stuff and hang out with their friends and family after works and cook up big potlucks and stuff like that. So that's
Oh,
kind of the environment that I grew up in.
wow.
And I grew up with really humble beginnings. And it's funny that you even asked about this because I feel like I only just kind of started reflecting on this recently and thinking
Yeah.
about like my own journey. And even just my own upbringing, because I was so young when we lived in Buffalo. I lived there I was born there and we lived there until I was 11 years old. But how I grew up was like my mom was a waitress waiting tables. My dad was delivering packages. He was up at like 4 o'clock in the morning every single day, working hard. I remember my dad always had like calloused hands because he was literally like driving a big truck, taking packages off them, delivering them to businesses, going to the next one, like really hands-on, dirty kind of work. Like I said, very blue collar, very humble.
Yeah.
My mom was like waiting tables while she was putting herself through school to work in like the legal space, to become a paralegal. And so
Wow.
that's kind of the environment that I grew up in, was just seeing my parents do what they needed to do to provide for us. And I was really lucky because I always had more than enough. Like I never felt like we lacked anything. And I'm sure that there's like so many struggles that my parents were going through that I will never even know about and don't even know about to this day, because
Right.
they just got the job done and they just made sure that we were always good and we always had everything that we need. But I grew up just seeing people, work hard to kind of just to make ends meet. Like we always had enough, but it was never anything extravagant.
Yeah.
And then when I don't know exactly how old I would have been, but probably around like 7 or 8 years old, I want to say, is when my dad was delivering packages. He had been doing that. That was kind of like his career at the time. And then one of his friends actually approached him to get into sales. And he's like, I think that you would be really good at sales. I want you to come and work for the company that I'm working for. They're looking for new people. And, at that point, my dad has pretty much nothing to lose because he's not making good money where he's at. So, like, why not try something new that's going to give him more of an opportunity? And when he got into sales, that's when kind of our lives started to change and things almost kind of started to open up for us. And then because of that, we ended up moving to Orlando, Florida when I was 11 years old, just because my parents both wanted to give me more opportunities. So by that time, my mom was already a paralegal. So then she was able to get a paralegal job down there. My dad was in sales and he was killing it at what he was doing. So it
Oh,
was easy
wow.
for him to find a new job. But because of that, they started making more money. We got to live in a place that was just going to give me better opportunity for like colleges, careers, stuff like that. And so
Yeah.
then we made that move when I was 11 years old. So I kind of grew up on two, I don't want to say different ends of the spectrum, because it's not like we moved to Florida and we were wealthy. Like we were still very much like middle class. But at the
Right.
time, I thought we were rich when we moved to Florida. Like I remember, if you knew what Buffalo, New York looks like, specifically in the place that I grew up in Buffalo, it's very like humble homes. They're kind of smaller homes,
Right.
you have mostly just like one floor and then you have a basement, and they're all really cute, but they're older homes and they're pretty tiny. And I remember when we pulled up to our house in Florida and no one in my family had seen the house. My parents purchased this home sight unseen. They had like friends who went and saw the house for us.
Uh-huh.
And this was back in 2005. So I'm like, we didn't have cell phones that could send videos back then. So I don't
Right.
even know. I'm pretty sure they like emailed my parents photos of the house and everyone was just like, sweet, let's do it. And I remember we pulled up to that house at nighttime after driving over 24 hours to
Wow.
get from Buffalo, New York to Orlando, Florida. We had two dogs in the trunk of the car. I had a hamster in the back seat with me. My mom and my grandma are in the front seat of the car. My dad's driving a big ass U-Haul truck. And I remember we pull up in like the middle of the night,
Yeah.
open the door. I get smacked in the face with this Florida humidity. I'm like, yes, give me the warmth. Buffalo, New York is literally known for being so cold. We get crazy snowstorms there. And I remember the house was lit up inside. So it's dark outside, but the lights on the house are on. There's a huge palm tree in the front of the house, and it was a 2-story house. I had never lived in a 2-story house before. I had like one family member who had a 2-story house. Like the rest of
Right.
us all had like single-story homes. And so I'm looking up at this thing like it is the best thing I have ever seen. I'm like, oh my gosh, we've made it. And so literally from a young age, 11 years old, I saw my life begin to change because of
Wow.
sales and because of
Yeah.
my family member, my father, having actual sales skills. And
Mm.
as his career continued to develop after we moved there, and he continued to get promoted within the companies that he worked for and just be better at sales because he was working in sales roles. And so the more you sell, the more you're going to make because it's
Right.
similar to running a business. You're getting paid off of commission. And so from him doing that, I saw things change more and more. And because he was able to make that money, my mom ended up quitting her job. We had a family brick and mortar business at one point, which ended up being my first job that I ever worked and my first experience with sales and social media marketing, where I was social media marketing on Instagram the year that the app was created while I was still in high school, working to build my family business. And so from that age is when I knew like I want to be an entrepreneur. It's like I
Mm.
love this. I love figuring out how to communicate with customers. How do I get in front of potential customers? How do I upsell customers who are in front of me in the store?
Right.
How do I get more demand? How do I get more traffic? Like literally 16 years old,
Wow.
going to school, being on 3 cheerleading teams, and then figuring this out. And at the same time, like I was just obsessed with it from such a young age. And from that point on, I knew like I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to be in sales,
Mm.
marketing, and entrepreneurship. And I felt like I wasn't going to settle for anything less than that after that point.
Yeah. Because you saw the impact. You saw how it changes lives.
And I was just so interested in it. I
Mm.
just thought it was so cool and so interesting, like seeing this work that you put in translate to not just sales, but people caring about your brand. Like I really leveraged social media, and this was in like 2010. So like social
Right.
media was not what it is today,
Mhm.
16 years later. And so I was on Instagram, I was on Twitter, I was on Facebook, growing our different social media platforms. I was figuring out marketing campaigns at this age. And through doing that, we were getting like this insane reach to the point where one day my mom and I were in our store and this family comes in and they're from Ireland. And they're like, and the mom was like, it was like the mom, there was a daughter, and I think they had a son with them too. And the mom was like, we are visiting Orlando because we're here for Disney World, which is why everyone visits Orlando. And she's like, but my daughter's one thing that she wanted to do on this trip was come to your store because we owned a cheerleading store. And her daughter was a
Ah.
cheerleader in Ireland. And here we are in Orlando, Florida. Mind you, Disney World is 45 minutes away from where we were at too. So like they had to get in the
Oh.
car and drive to make it there. The mom was like, yeah, we bought them Disney tickets. And this is the one thing she cared about doing was come to your store. She cared about it more than Disney World. And I remember seeing that and thinking like, holy shit, look at the impact
Mm.
that you can create just from getting in front of people, communicating with them,
Yeah.
selling to them. Like it's so much more than just making those sales. Like that mattered to me that that family spent the time to get there, and that the daughter who had never been to Disney World cared more about coming to our store than she did about seeing like Mickey and Minnie. Like that's crazy. And so
Yeah.
that just made me so obsessed and interested in like look at the possibilities and the opportunities that you can create for yourself literally just by
Yeah.
selling and marketing.
It's so true, isn't it? And like what strikes me with the cheer, I've never been a cheerleader. I would have been the worst fucking cheerleader in the world. I would have tried, but I probably would have fallen on my face. However, I respect the craft. And what I do know is cheerleaders, like it's a lifestyle, right? It's a life. So there
Yeah.
was an identity piece there as well.
Yes,
And you
yes,
were speaking
100%.
to her in that identity piece, so much so that some other brand, Disney, which gets us all as children, where she
Yeah, it
was,
gets
you
me as an adult.
I can't. I'm going to Tokyo hopefully next week because sales have allowed me to. Thank you, Sales
Yes, let's
Baddie.
go.
And I want to go to Tokyo Disney World because I haven't been since I was 12, and I went to
Oh,
Orlando.
so
But
exciting.
bringing it back to what you're saying, why it's so interesting is because it's like she's gone from this other exciting archetype to like this is who I am now, and this is a business that's speaking to me in my language, and I feel like that's one of your superpowers.
Yes, that is so true. And that's
Yeah.
literally why I'm obsessed with what I do.
And that's it. So you're working in, I love that your family had a cheerleading store. So you're working in the cheerleading store. And like, what was your journey to entrepreneurialism outside of that? Like, what's your journey from there to where you are now?
So I'm working in the store until I turn 18, 19, and I go
Yeah.
away for college. So I went away like 4 hours from where I went to middle school and high school to go away to Florida State University. Go Knowles. And I went there and I got my business marketing degree. And so that's what I was doing during that time, was just
Wow.
working on my degree and working in a restaurant, which frankly, that's also sales because I'm serving tables. You're trying to upsell people, you're trying to get them to buy more. And of course, you're trying
Yeah,
to get them to tip you really well. You're just
that's
trying to
true.
get them to like you so they pay you more money. And I'm
Yeah.
taking that money and I'm going out that night. You know what I mean?
Hey,
And
yes.
so that's what I'm doing. I'm studying marketing and sales. I'm working in a restaurant and I'm just having a really good time overall, just with my friends and being away from my hometown and kind of getting that first experience of, becoming myself and figuring out who am I outside of, being with my family and going to my high school that I'm at 8 hours a day and being on all of these different cheerleading teams because I wasn't doing cheerleading in college anymore. So, like you kind of said before with the identity, it's like, well, then my identity kind of had to shift after that. And I had more time and space to kind of get in tune with who I actually was. And so I did that, graduated with my bachelor's degree. But then after I graduated, I was like, I do not want to go into corporate America. Like, that sounds absolutely horrible to me. I don't want to sit in an office. I also had a marketing internship the year before I graduated, and it was an office job. And I was working there almost full time. It was full time 4 days a week instead of 5 days a week. I
Wow.
hated this job, hated it. I literally hid a calendar in my desk and I was marking off every day, how many days do I have left until this internship is over? Because I was going crazy just sitting in like a dull, dark office every single day. I'm like, okay, well, this type of marketing is not for me. And I knew that. And so after I graduated, I'm like, I don't want to jump straight into working straight away because in my mind, I'm thinking, once I start my career, I'm in it, right? There's no escaping. I'm going to start it, and that's just going to be what I do for the rest of my life. This is what
Right.
I'm thinking
Right.
when I'm 22 years old, because that was kind of the path. Specifically, my age group, like I feel like it's changing now. Maybe people aren't so heavy on you have to go to university, you have to get a degree, and then you have to get a job. Maybe they're not so heavy on that now, but specifically when I was going through it, that was like the path. That's what
Right.
all of my friends did. Everyone was following that same path. So I thought that's what you had to do. Because I thought you had to do that, I'm like, I don't want to jump into this straight away. So me and my best friend ended up getting certified to teach English as a foreign language. And we booked a one-way ticket and we moved to Spain with like, I don't know, a few $100, no job.
Wow.
But we had
Yeah.
this TEFL certificate and we're like, we're going to figure this out.
Yeah.
And so we're in Spain. We don't know where in Spain we're living. We showed up in Barcelona. And I remember the first few days that we were there, me and her were freaking miserable. We were like jet lagged. We're like having existential crises. Both of us had just gotten out of like really long-term, like high school sweetheart relationships. So you want to talk about an identity crisis? That was
Yeah.
a freaking identity crisis right there. And we've moved to another country and I have no money. I have no place to live. I have no job. What's going on?
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
am
Yeah.
I? Is anything real? Like, just we were both just having existential crises, freaking out. And then we were like, okay, we're going to go to Valencia for 2 weeks. Then we're going to come back to Barcelona, plant roots here. And literally the second we got off the train in Valencia, and I don't know if you've been to Valencia, but like right outside of the
Yeah.
train station is pretty much like the town center. So you kind of walk off the
Yeah.
train station and they have like this beautiful tile ground and these beautiful buildings. And I'll never forget, we both walked out of the train station. We both have our big suitcases, like our backpackers, proper traveling Osprey backpack. And we just like kind of like took a deep breath. We're like this, and we're just like kind of looked at each other and we're like, oh, this is the place. Like this is where we're going to stay. Like it just felt right immediately.
Yeah.
And so then we're just going from Airbnb to Airbnb, trying to find some kind of permanent place to live, trying to find work. We end up like, we're going out at night and we're just going up to people saying, hey, you need an English teacher? you know anyone who needs an English teacher? I was like, we're
Wow.
selling drugs on the side of the road, but we're just trying to get people to sign up for some English like classes. And through doing that, my friend ended up going up to someone and they're like, no, but like, do you guys want to work at my nightclub? And we're like, well, yeah, how much? They're like 25 euro an hour. We're like, sold. For
Yeah.
us at that time, we're like, okay,
Yeah.
we're basically rich if we work here. So then we end up working at this nightclub, literally standing outside of the nightclub, passing out flyers, chapitos
Um,
gratis, chapitos gratis, free shots. Take this paper and you get a free shot if you come into our nightclub. Just getting
oh,
traffic into the
come
nightclub.
in.
We would do
Yeah.
that for a few hours every night. After we're done, we go in, they would give us free drinks, and we were just having the time of our lives. And
Yeah.
so doing that, we kept doing the same thing, meeting people, asking if they needed an English teacher, because a lot of people in Valencia do want English teachers. So they teach English in school over there. But it's almost like if you learn Spanish in school, which I did. I took Spanish for 3 or 4 years in school. I could not tell you a single thing that I learned in one of those classes. But
Right.
when I lived there, I learned
Mm,
Spanish well to the point where I could read it, I could communicate with people, I could have full on
yeah.
conversations because it's so much easier to just learn not in a textbook way.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people wanted to learn from native English speakers how to speak English, even children's, even adults who wanted to get better jobs. And it would help them if they were good English speakers to get a better job. So there was
Yeah.
actually a lot of demand for English teachers, for private English teachers there. And so literally just from like networking with people, we end up building up a clientele base, and then we end up leaving the club, and then we're just teaching English at
Yeah.
these random hours. And when we're not teaching English, we were just traveling around, we were backpacking, we were going to different cities and different countries, and we were just having the absolute best time. And I feel like
Yeah.
that was the point in my life where I really figured out who I am, because like I said before, it was like everything else got stripped away. I'm not around anything that I know. I'm not around anyone that I know. I don't even have any stability. And so just here I am figuring out who I am and what the hell I'm doing and what do I want to do, and really connecting with myself. And so that almost became like a spiritual journey for me, just being over there and not having these other things to focus on, and just living my life for myself for like the first time. And so we
Yeah.
did that for a while. And then it finally got to the point where it's like, well, now we're broke. This isn't necessarily sustainable. Like, yeah, we can keep doing this and we can keep making ends meet every single month. But
Yeah.
like, we're both going to need to kind of get a real job and figure out what we're doing with our lives.
Yeah.
And yeah, exactly. And so we're over there applying for jobs. And I actually got an interview with a company I ended up working for while I was still in Spain. So I'm online on Indeed or whatever it is, looking
Yeah.
for sales and marketing jobs. And I was interested in doing marketing. I actually specifically wanted to do social media marketing, but there was nothing specific that piqued my interest that I was seeing. And so then I started leaning more into sales because I love autonomy. I wanted to do an outside sales job where I was going out and seeing clients, not sat in an office, not doing like telesales while I'm on the phone
Oh,
all day, but actually
yeah.
being in front of people and selling, getting out of the office and doing that. And I also wanted to work somewhere where it's like, hey, your payment's going to match your effort. So if you sell more, you make more to an unlimited capacity. And that's what I wanted. I wanted that kind of like unlimited potential to make as much money as I wanted to make. And so that's why I started leaning into sales. I got an interview with this company while I was overseas still. And they're like, hey, can we do a phone interview with you next week? I'm like, actually, no, I'm living overseas, but I'll be back in 2 weeks. We can do an interview then. And I ended up getting hired on the spot for that company. And then it was just like, boom. I think I started like, I went and interviewed like the week that I was back. I think I started 1 week after that. So I'm literally haven't even been back from overseas for a month yet. And I'm boom, right into corporate sales, right into the grind, right into the hustle, right into working 12 plus hours a day. Such a drastic change from what I
Yeah.
was used to in Spain. And it was a lot, but that was like my first experience with like a real sales job. And when I
Yeah.
started with that company, the first thing they do is they fly you out for intensive sales training for a week, literally to teach you how to sell, how to pitch people, how to prospect, how to get in front of people, how to lead a sales conversation. And I'm just in a classroom for hours and hours a day, literally learning intensively how to sell. And so I just went straight into it from there. And the story gets even longer from
I love it. No, I love it.
I'm
Tell
like,
me
we
all of it.
haven't even started. We
I've
haven't
got
even
so many
started.
questions. Yeah, yeah, go, keep going.
And so I'm working for that sales job. And actually, the first day on the job, one day after my 23rd birthday. So I show up to the airport after my 23rd birthday. Me and my girlfriends, we're 23 years old. I moved into an apartment in downtown Orlando with my girlfriends. We were out the entire night. I'm like, I didn't even pack. I'm like throwing stuff in my suitcase in the morning. I go to the airport looking like a total mess, show up to this training. I have no idea what I'm getting myself into. And actually, that day is when I met my husband for the first time, because he was at that training too from Australia. And so they flew all of the new hires out at the same time. So he's coming from Brisbane, Australia. I'm coming from Orlando, Florida. We're meeting for the first time. I'm meeting all of these other people in sales school that I'm starting with. And I instantly I remember being in that room and I was like, oh, I'm about to wipe the floor with all of you. Immediately, it was like a challenge for me. I'm like, oh, we're in a sales school together. Well, I'm going to be at the top of the class. Like, I'm going to be the best at this. I'm going to hit the club levels the fastest. I'm going to be the best at what I do. And so from day one, I was just in it, committed, like studying my craft. Like, we left sales school, we go back to Orlando, and you can ask my two best friends that I lived with. I had flashcards practicing my pitch every night. I would sit them down and I would pitch them and just practice and practice and practice. And they would always make fun of me for doing it, but I became obsessed. I became obsessed with sales, business, marketing, and even just self-development and leadership and all of these different things. And so working for that company really taught me a lot about sales, but also about personal development, about mindset, about tenacity, about, I would get my teeth kicked in half the time working at that job. I would get no, 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 no. How do you pick yourself up after you hear no, 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 no? How do you keep going the next day? How do you keep going that same day? Like, it taught me a lot of perseverance, a lot of skills that I hold to this day. And there's a lot of bad things that I can say about that experience, but there's a lot of good things that I can say about it as well. And I've leveraged every single one of those things that I learned working there. And so I was with that company for almost 2 years, and I did so well with the company. I was like the fastest person in my office to hit multiple club levels. I was the fastest person to get into the leadership room. I was the youngest person in the leadership room, where I was actually making decisions for our offices. I was interviewing the new hires. I was interviewing people. I was coaching people within the company on sales. I had people who would travel from out of state or from other offices to come along and follow me for the day to see how I sold. If someone wasn't doing well, they would be like, you need to go and learn from Cailin because she is. And so I was literally coaching with that company too, and learning not just how to sell for myself, but how can I teach other people to take what I'm doing, make it their own, and utilize it to work for them so they make more sales too. And so for me, I'm 24 years old at this point, and I'm like, this company is my life. This is what I want to do. This is like my calling. I was obsessed with it. I felt like I was on the trajectory to like make a name for myself within the company and to get to like the VP level and be running big teams and have my own office and stuff like that. And I remember I did a speech at one of our company meetings when I won an award, and I spoke in front of like 1,000 people on stage. And after that speech, I'm walking off the stage, and the CEO of the company like hugs me, and he's like, you're going to run this company one day. And I was like, yes, I am. Like, this is what I'm going to do. And I really thought that was my plan until it wasn't, because I got in a relationship with my husband, not when we first met, but it ended up being like 8 or so months after that. We had connected, we had kept seeing each other at company meetings. And then one time we finally just hit it off, and it was like, boom, from that day, we were just like in a relationship. Like, we never even really talked about it. We just started dating. We just started doing long distance. And it was like, our relationship opened my eyes so much to not what I wanted from a career, but what I wanted for my life. And it showed me how unsustainable what I was doing was, but it also showed me how unhappy I was working for that company because I lost myself working for them. When I say I was working 12 hours a day, sometimes I was working 16 hours a day. Sometimes I was getting 2 hours sleep because I'm up at night. I have certain numbers that I have to hit, and I won't go to bed until I hit those numbers and get enough prospects. And it was just draining me. It was exhausting. It was like I didn't have a life outside of working for this company anymore. And I couldn't be with my husband because they didn't want me to transfer offices. They didn't want me to move over to Australia. They said, your relationship's a liability. You're going to move over there and you're going to resent him. Your relationship's not going to work out. And then we're going to lose both of you. Well, they ended up losing both of us anyway. But, and so I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. Why am I giving so much to this place? And I'm not seeing how I even want to do this for my entire life. This doesn't feel like what I want my life to be like and what I want my life to look like.
Yeah.
And so after a while of trying to quit and then not quitting because I would get talked out of it and then trying to quit, talked out of it. Again, I was only 24 years old, and the people I'm speaking to are like 40-year-old men who were my bosses, who I had a great relationship with and I looked up to as like a big brother. And so what they say I'm taking really seriously, and it's getting in my head and it's making me question myself. And so I was going through that process for like several months where I was trying to quit, but like it almost was like I couldn't. And then one day I was driving in my car, and I don't remember if I called my dad or he called me, but I was on the phone with him. And I was just like, and my dad's always been in sales. And so I was really proud that I was in sales and doing really well because I knew that I was making him proud. And so I remember speaking to him and basically telling him like what I was going through. And I'm like, Dad, I love this guy. Like, I don't want to do long distance, but like I'm doing so well with this company and I'm afraid of quitting. Like, what do I do? And he was like, Cailin, that company doesn't give a fuck about you. He said, you will leave and they will replace you tomorrow. The biggest mistake I ever made in my life was putting my work over my family. And I was like, whoa. And that was all I needed to hear. After that, I was like, my decision was made. I just needed that like one affirmation of like, no, this fuck them. Like, do you trust yourself, back yourself? And I literally quit after that, broke my lease, sold everything that I own, packed up my clothing into 2 suitcases, got a temporary visa and a one-way ticket to Australia. And then I ended up here in Australia. And that was at the end of 2018. So almost 8 years now. And because of the visa that I was on at the time, it had a lot of stipulations with like who can hire you and how long you can even work for a company for. So on that visa that I was on, you can only work for a company for 6 months at a time. And then they have to get rid of you. And I'm in marketing and sales. So no one wants to hire an employee for 6 months at a time because you have to train them for a few months too. And so then it's like, by the time you get trained, you almost have to leave. It doesn't make sense. If I were the company, I wouldn't have wanted to hire me because it doesn't make sense, right? I'm looking for like a long-term employee if I'm them. So like, I totally get it. So then I'm just left with like the bottom of the barrel sales jobs. And I'm talking like door-to-door sales, selling products like water coolers that I don't care about, and working for, of course, men again, who I'm like, they're trying to like mansplain how to sell to me. And I'm just like, I am so much better at this than you. I have more experience than you. Like, I have sold more in my life than you. Like, you're selling fucking water coolers and I have been selling $20,000 suit jackets. Like, it's not the same. And so I just hated it. Like, it was such a drag. And I hated that form of sales too, because the form of sales that I like in general, the approach to sales that I like in general is built on connections, rapport, building relationships. Even in a very fast-paced environment, you can still quickly build a relationship with someone. But the door-to-door sales, there's no time to build a relationship. You're walking in, you're pitching the person on the spot. It felt gross to me. I didn't like it. It's not the form of sales that I like. So I just felt like not right in my body. I would like wake up every day and I would like walk down the stairs, like slumped over, like crying to my husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, saying like, please, like, don't make me do this. Don't make me go. And
Yeah.
it was because of that that I'm like, this is it. Like, I have to start my own business. I have to take control. I have to take control of my life, of my finances. Like, I want to stop relying on these other people. I got fucked over from my corporate job. I hate what I'm doing here. I'm trying to apply for these jobs and I don't even want to work at these jobs. Like, I got to do something for myself and figure this out. So then in between lunch breaks, there I am, Google and YouTubing how to start an online business. Like, I had no idea that coaching existed. I didn't know it was an option. I didn't know
Wow.
what it was. I was like, I'm going to do social media management for people because that's what I know how to do from my past
Yeah.
experience doing it for our own company. And I'm just going to figure it out. So that's literally how I fell into being a business owner. And then after a year of basically being like, I will sell anything to anyone and do anything you want me to do because I'm just trying to make some money. After that, I finally kind of fell into coaching because I was working with these social media management clients and the post that I was doing was getting them traffic and sales. And then they started coming to me like, hey, I love that this is happening, but why? And I was like, well, I love that you want to know why. I can explain it to you, like, but we'll have to hop on a coaching call. And they're like, yeah. And so they started paying me for it. And I was like, whoa, this is a thing. And then after that, I started to discover, whoa, there's an entire coaching space where people do this for a living. And by the way, I am way better at coaching than I am at like social media management because I'm so disorganized. Like, I was not good
Right.
at the social media management. I'm much
Oh,
better at like, let me tell you what to do than I am like, let me do it for you.
right.
And so then I got into that. I found out what coaching was. I pivoted into that for the first, and I got rid of all of my social media management clients.
Oh,
So I started from zero again because I was like, I need to go all in on this. It's too time consuming to do that. Like, let me put all of my focus and attention here. And so
yeah.
for the first few months, it was kind of scrapping things together, trying to figure it out. And then that fourth month was when I hit my first $10,000 cash month, of course, selling a sales program. And that was in 2010. And it has just been rolling and expanding since then.
God damn, that's an amazing story. Thank you for sharing that. Wow.
Long story long.
Oh no, I mean those are my favorites. I love it because
Me
I
too. Me
my
too.
favorite kind of podcast is when you can really get into somebody's story because there's so much you learn through that, through all the nuggets and the
Yeah.
nuance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you're doing sales coaching, start in 2010. You've learned everything you need to know super early. You're out earning all these bloody men who are trying to mansplain everything to you. Like, fuck you. No, I know exactly what not to do. I know exactly what I want, what I need. So then
Yep.
what was the journey between your sales coaching and Sales Baddie, which is how I have come to know you?
Oh my gosh. I would say it has been genuinely like, I don't know if roller coaster is the right terminology, but it has been like just figuring the fuck out and figuring out what I really wanted for my business. And so from like 2010 to, I'll say like mid 2025, it was kind of in the middle of last year where I really
Yeah.
decided I wanted to take my business in a different direction. But from 2020, sorry, until then, I'm just kind of going through, I'm like launching these different programs. And then I'll decide, I don't really want to do that program anymore because maybe it doesn't resonate with me anymore, or I don't like the messaging anymore. Take it away, new program. Take it away, new program. Like, it was kind of like a lot of that. It was kind of like a lot of new creation all of the time, trying to figure out what sticks. But I wasn't almost kind of allowing many things to stick.
Right.
And I'm almost glad that I didn't because I think I needed that experience of figuring out what did I really want my business to be. And I had all these different offers. And listen, everything always worked for me. Like, I have never been like at zero. I've never not been able to sell a program. I've never brought forward a program and not had people join it. But that being said, I didn't want to keep all of those programs. And so I had low ticket programs, I had self-paced programs, mid ticket, four-figure group coaching programs, masterminds, the one-to-ones. Like, I've literally sold everything, I feel like. And so it's just kind of figuring out, do I like this? Do I like that? Let's keep this one. Let's get rid of that one.
Right.
But I also, it was funny because it was like in the beginning of my business, when I went in on that sales program, I had a lot of success from that. But then I felt like I had to be almost like a generalist business coach who, well, I can teach you this too. And oh, you want to know about this too, and I could teach you that too, and I'll teach you leadership, and I'll teach you energetics, and then I'll teach you marketing and messaging and launching and this and this and that. And it was like felt like I had to create a program for every different thing, or like stuff it all into one, to where it was like almost hard for me to then sell my programs because I was trying to like appease something. And then I also have this message that's continuously being told to me of like, well, if you're a business and sales coach, like you have to sell people on a certain income level. So you have to tell them that they're going to get to like X months. Like the amount of times that I was genuinely given that as advice is kind of crazy to me. Even in the very beginning, when I had my first sales program and I was explaining like, no, this isn't for a certain income level. Like I have people in this program who are making more than me, but they just want to learn how to sell better. And I'm being told like, no, that doesn't make sense. You can't do that. Like I'm confused. And I'm like, well, the 30 people who just joined it aren't confused. So I think we're good here. But like then questioning myself because, well, these people know more than me. They've made more money than me. They're more successful than me. So obviously I just need to follow what they're saying. And then I kind of got away from just doing sales and feeling like I needed to be all of this, I needed to be all of that. Almost like I needed to catch up. And it was like, just selling wasn't enough, especially if I wasn't selling to a certain income level. Like it had to be like, my group program for 10K months or 100K. And I'm like, I don't like this messaging because it doesn't matter how much money you're making. For most people, there's still a gap with sales. I actually have not come across an entrepreneur that doesn't have a sales gap. Literally, people who make more money than me might be at multiple 7-figure businesses. And I can look at their profile and be like, well, this would work better if you do this. And if we fix your link in bio, it would do that. And if we did this to your funnel, or if we added in this offer, you'd make more money. Like I can literally see these gaps. And so I'm like, it never made sense to me to dull down my work to fit it into like, you have to hit X months and this is for you. If like that was so boring to me because I wasn't focused on just getting someone to one income month. I wanted to focus on real skill development and understanding, because when you have that, you could take it to anywhere you want to take it to, right? Then it's just a matter of refinement and amplifying what you're already doing. But it took me a long time to actually figure that out. And it wasn't until last year where I really started to see that. And I really started to think about, I just want to go all in on just being known for sales and making that my thing. And so then I started to slowly but surely bring forward just sales focused programs. And I dropped a sales program, Sales on Demand, that teaches you how to sell anything at any time. And that worked well. And then I had another program, This Is How I Funnel, where I taught people my funnel process, which is not like how most people approach funnels. It's super simple. It's super straightforward. It's leveraging what you already have built for your business. It doesn't rely on ads or anything like that. It's simple organic funnels that anyone who has an online business can and should build for themselves. And that program took off. I had like 70 people join that program in 1 month. And a lot of these people, multiple 6 figures, 7 figures. And they're messaging me like, oh my God, holy shit. Like I'm mind blown by this. Or I just implemented this and it's already working and I already got a new sale from it. And I'm like, wow, this is really starting to show me how much of a gap there is when it comes to these real sales skills and understanding. And then off the back of that program, I launched a one-to-one and done with you program for the people who are in there, where I'm like, okay, now let's work together on your funnel build and on your sales process. And we're going to build this out together. And then I'm doing that. I'm getting even more hands-on into these people's businesses. They're already making a great amount of money. And I'm seeing so many gaps in their sales process, in their system. And not even just that, but in their skills. Like, let's take the systems and the processes away from it. How do you know how to lead a sales conversation? If someone was in front of you right now, could you literally fucking pitch them and get them bought into what you're doing? If someone reaches out to you in a DM, do you actually know what to say? Can you show up on camera and talk about your offer like it's the best damn thing on the internet, or type about it like it's the best damn thing on the internet? And a lot of people still can't, even though they already have so much success. That's why I love this so much, because it's like you're already doing great and we have so many opportunities to make it even better. And I'm seeing those gaps for my clients, and I'm seeing the aha moments, and I'm seeing how much better it feels for them and how much easier it works for them by working with them in this hands-on way. And that's when I really was like, okay, I need to build something that doesn't require me to be hands-on in this process with people, that's going to give them these skills for themselves, So they always know what to do. They always know how to scale a program bigger. They always know how to take an idea and turn it into an offer that sells within the next couple of weeks. Like they literally always know what to do to be in control of their sales, their business, their income, and their results. And so from there, I just started getting curious. I just started being like, what would this look like? And I had to just kind of sit with that and detach, which was like the hardest thing for me to ever do, because my Virgo rising is like, well, I want to fucking plan and I got to figure this out right now. And I got to know what I'm doing. And I was like, no, I need to just be open and sit with this and like not just build a program to build a program, but like wait until the thing comes to me. And I know it's the thing that I just want to go full speed ahead with. And so again, I just kind of got curious. And then in the beginning of this year, in January, that's when I was like, okay, this work can't be done in a 1-month program. It can't be done in a 60-day program. It can't be done in a 90-day program. Sales is something that you should always be working on as an entrepreneur. And I say entrepreneur specifically because I believe there's a difference between an entrepreneur and just a business owner. And an entrepreneur is the person who is so bought into their vision and they're willing to consistently do that work and go after it and take risks and do what they need to do to build the skill set that they can transfer across anything that they can create and anything that they can bring forward. And so I start creating this space because I'm like, I can't promise someone that this is going to happen in a month because I'm still working on my sales skills. 16 years later, I'm still open. I'm still curious. I'm still refining things. I'm still making things better. That's what we should always be doing as business owners. And genuinely, the second that we stop doing that is the second one where we need to question, like, why am I doing what I'm doing? Because the second that we stop doing that is the second that we're not as bought into our actual process. Like, entrepreneurs are people who are always willing to learn and who are always seeking to be better at their craft. And if you're an entrepreneur and you want to be better at your craft, then you need to be better at sales. And I wanted to build a space for those people who could stay locked into these skills, who I can learn a new skill and I could bring forward and I can share it to them. And we're doing this ongoing work together to continue to get better, to go from good to better and badder, like I always say. And so that's when I was like, this needs to be something that's ongoing, which is why it's going to be a membership. And I know that some people will only come in for a month. I know that some people will only come in for 90 days, but I know that I'm also going to have some people who are literally in there for the next 5 years and they're just going to light the fucking world on fire because of how committed they've been to doing this work. Because if you stay committed to learning the skill of sales, you're always going to provide for yourself. You're always going to have food on the table, whether it's with the current business you're in or the next one. When you have this real sales skill and understanding, that transfers across anything that you do. That's why I've been able to sell suits, shirts, slacks, and then water coolers, and then charity subscriptions, and then $11,000 coaching packages and $15,000 coaching packages and $11 programs. Like, people try to tell you that every sale is different and you sell high ticket this way and low ticket this way. And I don't believe that's true. I believe it's the process that we have to follow. And then we just can kind of shape the process to what we're selling. But when you have that skill set, it transfers across anything. And so I had this conversation on a podcast I was on last week, but if my business were to explode today, God forbid, let's say the internet just got shut down forever. Like, if that were to happen, I would be like, okay, I know how to sell face to face. I know how to sell on the phone. I know how to sell through email. I know how to sell through social media. Like, no, you could put me in any environment and I'm going to know how to sell any product because I have skill, because I have understanding, because I know how to communicate with people, to build rapport with them, to get them bought in, to ask the right questions, to lead a sales conversation. Those skills will go anywhere with you. And that's what I'm all about, is building those skills and helping other people build those skills for themselves. Because what does the skill give you? Power. It gives you control. It gives you the ability to do what you want to do when you want to do it. If you don't like that offer, when you know how to sell, just like I did at the beginning of the year, I got rid of all of my other offers. I stripped away my income, my one-to-one, my mastermind, my highest paying packages, to go all in on an offer that is $97 a month per person versus the $2,000 a month per person that I was used to. I was okay with doing that because I trust myself. I trust myself because I have skill to trust myself. Not because I'm just sitting here like, I trust myself, but because I know I'm going to be able to do what I need to do to make this thing work. So how can I have that fear? Or even if I do have that fear, how can I let that control me? It doesn't. I am in control because of the skills that I have. And that's how I want everyone to feel about their business at all times, because control gives you options. And I want you to feel like you have limitless options and potential in your business to do whatever the fuck you want to do, whenever the fuck you want to do it, and actually have it work. And so that's what Sales Baddie is all about. Yes, we're building the strategy. Yes, we're building the structure. Yes, we're building the system, but we're also looking at what's underneath all of that, at the skill and the understanding that makes you know, why is the system working? Why is the strategy working? Why is the structure working? How does it work? When does it work? What do I need to do to refine or amplify it working? Like literally to have control, to be able to look at your entire business and sales as this one world, this one ecosystem, and you're able to see how everything works together and how everything connects and how everything complements the next thing. That's what Sales Baddie is all about, giving you that full sales picture where we bring all of those moving pieces, all of those strategies that you've collected. We bring all of the things that make sense together. We leave everything that doesn't make sense outside of it because it's not for you. And we go all in on building your approach to sales.
Oh, I love it. Fuck, it's so powerful as well. And it's exactly aligned with what I want for women, more freedom, more power, like realizing your potential and that you're
Yeah.
in fucking charge of it. And I feel like that's why I just align with what you're doing. And I've seen the power of what you do because I'm using it in my business. And it's like I've made
Yes.
more sales than I've ever made, ever.
And look how fast that was. And like you're
So
just
fast.
getting started. And
Yeah.
that's the most exciting thing about it, because it's like, this is great, but it gets to be better. And then it gets to be better. And then it gets to be
Yes.
better and better and better. Like I just feel like that's what entrepreneurship is about.
Mm,
It is the pursuit of greatness. It is the
mm,
pursuit of constantly getting better. And I think a lot of people shy away from it because there can be a toxic attachment to that. Yes. But we also want to remember that, like, no, we get to keep making things better. We get to keep striving. We get to keep
yeah.
refining our skills and refining our offers and refining our businesses to build what we want to build and to make something that we love and that we're so proud of,
Yeah.
that we can't even help but talk about it. We can't even help but sell it, because now it just feels like secondhand nature. It just feels so natural to just go and do the thing and sell the thing because it feels so good while you do it.
Yeah, exactly that. And I think feeling good is the ultimate because you know this, it's probably a question you get asked all the time, but sales is given such a bad fucking rep. And I know that
Mm-hmm.
women specifically can be like, ew, I don't want to sell. It feels icky to me. What do you think is the relationship between that narrative and insecurity?
Insecurity in themselves, you mean?
Hmm.
I would say, I honestly think it goes back to judgment and fear of being judged, especially as women, because we
Hmm.
are judged so much. We're judged on everything that we do. We're judged on the way that we speak. We're
Yeah.
judged on our tone. We're judged on our cadence. We're judged on
Yeah.
the words that we say, and if we cuss or if we're polite or if we're too
Fucking hell.
abrasive or aggressive. We're judged on the way that we dress. We're judged on the way that we do our hair and our makeup and our nails done. Like we're literally judged on everything.
Mm,
And because we're so used to this judgment, I think it's easy to be afraid of being judged. And I think a lot of people are afraid that if they sell, people are going to judge them, or they're going to
right.
think negatively of them for selling. And they're
Mm,
going to equate that to something bad. How dare she ask for this? How dare she sell to me? Like there's
yeah.
still that genuinely deep rooted fear that a lot of people have when it comes to approaching sales and when it comes to asking for the sale and when it comes to just like literally going for it. There's
Yeah.
also that fear of rejection. There's that
Mm,
fear that I'm going to put myself out there, or I'm going to put my offer out there. And, you know, a lot of times with the online businesses that we have, and a lot of them are like personal brands. And so, yeah, you might be putting your offer out there, but for you, it feels like you're putting yourself out there.
yeah.
I mean, fully honest, I feel that way about Sales Baddie. I feel like I'm not just putting this program out there, I'm putting myself out there, right? Like,
Mm,
and so it can be hard too, because then it's like, but they're not just rejecting the offer, they're rejecting me as a person. And you almost want to
mm,
protect yourself from that, because if you don't do it, then you don't face the no. If you don't do it, then you won't face that rejection. If I don't do it, then I'm going to be over here and I'm going to be safe. I'm protecting myself from judgment. I'm protecting myself from rejection. I'm protecting myself from hearing no or having someone think negatively about me because I led a sales conversation or I asked for the sale. Like, it's literally a form of protection that people use to try to make themselves feel safe. But you're never going to feel safe doing that, because what are you doing? Going back to what I said before, you're giving someone else control over your sales. You're not in control. You're worried about what they think and how they're going to react. So you know who you put in control of your sales? Them, their opinions, these other people who were never going to fucking buy from you to begin with. And so you think you're keeping yourself safe, but you're not keeping yourself safe, because you are putting yourself in a much more vulnerable position if you're not making money. That's just the society and the world that we live in. And the sooner that you accept that, the more money that you're going to make, the more success that you're going to see, and the more freedom you're going to have to live the actual life that you want to live because of it. And that's what it's all about. It's not just about the money. It's honestly, it's never just about the money, because what's money just sitting in a bank account for the rest of your life?
Right.
Like, it's what you can do with the money. It's a byproduct of being able to create wealth, generational wealth for the people who have families and people that they're going to pass it down to, wealth for yourself. I live on the opposite side of the world from my family and friends. I have to make money to see them. It cost me $3,000 to fly to America for my trip. Like, I have to make money to be able to see my friends and family, and to be able to have fun experiences with them, and to be able to do the things that light me up and make life worth living to me, which travel is one of those things for me. Experiences, going out to eat, good food, drinks, like just quality time with my people without worrying about putting my card down and stressing about something. So it's like, you think you're keeping yourself safe from when you're not selling, or when you're selling, but you're not. People know, when you're selling, but you're not doing it to your fullest ability. You're kind of like dipping the toe here and there. Like, when there's more that you can give, when you're not fully backing yourself and your offer, when you're not going all in on your launch. You think you're protecting yourself, but what you're doing is, one, giving other people control, and two, putting yourself in a more vulnerable position than you would have been in if you were just out there selling and going after it. And this is something that I have had to talk through myself a lot, not when it comes to selling, but for me, it's been more so getting visible, getting in front of more people, and making more sales because of it. I have never had an issue selling to someone, asking for the sale, being in front of them, leading a sales conversation. I've never had a trouble with that. But my fear always was, oh my gosh, what if I get in front of so many people and I have so many buyers, and then there's all these different opinions coming in, and they join my program, and what if they don't like it? And then what if they go on Reddit and they fucking badmouth me? Because I see it happen to so many people who I think are great people, who programs I've been in, and I'm like, they are incredible people, not just for their programs, but for who they are as a human, and they don't deserve to be torn down like this. What if that happens to me? What's going to happen then? Am I going to be able to emotionally regulate, and am I going to be able to handle that? Like, all of these fears that were playing out in my mind about getting visible, making more sales, and working with more clients is what I've had to walk myself through this year. And when I created Sales Baddie, I knew, like, hey, this is a lower ticket offer than how I've built my business. Like, how I built my business, I always kind of had higher ticket offers coming in and supplementing my income. So this is the first time that I have lower ticketed offers. What does that mean? That means I need more volume to make the amount of income that I want to make. It means I have to have more people in my spaces to make the income that I want to be making, to have the impact that I want to have. And God forbid if that happens, then, all of these negative things can come alongside of it. And so when I was creating Sales Baddie, I knew that, I'm going to have to get over this. I'm going to have to get out there, because I'm going to need to get in front of more people, and I'm going to need this volume. And oh my, when I tell you, did that happen quickly, like way faster than I thought it was ever going to happen. Because this year, my focus was to start running ads for my business. Well, we're almost to the 7th month of the year. I haven't ran a single ad for my business ever to this day. And so I was thinking, when I run the ads, I'm going to get more visibility. But just from creating Sales Baddie and like literally creating a space that people love and they want to talk about and they want to shout out and they want to rave about, I have gotten insane word of mouth marketing just from the baddies inside who are tagging me, who are sharing about it, who are literally reaching out to their clients and recommending it, their friends and recommending it. Like this beautiful word of mouth that I never expected to happen has made me more visible and my offer more visible than I have ever been in my business. And I was never expecting this to happen, but it was like, you know, God, the universe was like, bitch, let's go. You said you wanted this. We're going full speed ahead. And so it's like, okay, all right, we're figuring it out. We're figuring it out in real time. And that's what it's all about. It's like you can come up with all the scenarios in your head that you want to come up with. Well, they're all fiction. They're not a reality until they just happen. So just fucking let them happen, because guess what? You're going to figure it out when it does. And you can't let these stories that you tell yourself get in the way of your mission. And that's how I feel with Sales Baddie. I'm like, this is my mission. This is my calling. This is what I've worked for. This is what I've always seen for myself and for my business. It's finally clicked for me. This is what I wanted. I can't not go full speed ahead. I can't hold myself back. I can't not get visible. Like, this is what is required of me to build this space, and the space is needed. It would be wrong of me to stop. I would be doing a disservice to myself, to my clients, to people who watch me and look up to me, and genuinely the online coaching and service provider industry as a whole, if I stopped showing up, marketing, selling, getting visible, and just backing myself and Sales Baddie like it's the best damn thing on the internet. And so sometimes you just got to get out of your own fucking way. People think the fear, and they take the fear and they make it resistance, and then they say, but I'm just resisting this, so it's not feeling right in my body. No, feel the fucking fear and do it anyway. Go for it. Just go for it and figure it out, and be willing to fail, and be willing to learn, and be willing to take what happens to you as just information, data, feedback, learn from it, leverage it, and get even better the next time, which is literally like what Sales Baddie is all about too. Looking at your numbers, looking at what works for you and doesn't work for you, and then refining things from there, ditching things and then tweaking other things, and then refining other things to make it the best that it can be. It doesn't all have to be perfect at once, but you do have to be willing to learn and to put yourself out there, and you have to have that desire to want to be better, to want to get better at your work, to want to get better at your craft, to want to get better at sales. Because when you're better at sales, you're actually better at everything that you do with your business. Because when you're better at sales, you're working with more clients. When you're working with more clients, if you're a coach working with more clients, you're going to become a better coach. If you're a service provider working with more clients, you're going to be a better service provider. If you're a website designer, you're going to be way better at building websites when you're on website 100 than you are at website 5. And sales are the only thing that is going to get you there, unless you want to sit there and do free work for people, which no one wants to do that, right? And so literally sales is going to make every part of your business better, because you're going to bring people into your business and you're going to see the gaps. You're going to be able to figure out why people leave, why people say, what gets them bought in. Like, it's all information that you can take and leverage to succeed even better. The better you are at sales, the better everything in your business is going to be as a byproduct of it.
Oh, preach, girl, preach. I have questions and thoughts, but I also want to just check your time. How are you for time?
Yeah, I'm good. We can keep rolling.
Okay, like another 30 minutes is okay?
Yeah.
Okay, you're amazing. Thank you. Because there's so many nuggets, and as you're
I'm
speaking,
like, the Sales Baddie emails are going out. Like, I'm actually done for the day after this, so we're good.
okay, good. That's my favorite answer. Because these things I always say they're an hour, they're never a fucking hour. I think I need to start doing like 2 hour podcasts, because I really like people to have the breadth so they can say everything. And I don't want to edit. I don't want to edit shit. I just want to put it up as it is, because that puts me off the podcast having to edit. So when you're speaking, because we're talking about data, we're talking about just doing it anyway, you're going to become better at what you do. When you said you had to sort like your own head out about visibility, and so what are your top ways of doing that with your mindset? Like, how do you heal your energy around it, your mindset around it? Do you have top tips and tricks you can share with people for visibility?
Genuinely, the only way through is action, is just doing the damn thing. Stop talking yourself out of doing the damn thing and just do it. Just get out there, just get in front of people. Just like, it's not going to happen in your journal. It's for me, like it's you're not gonna figure it out in your journal. You're gonna figure it out by doing the thing. And trust,
Yeah.
I'm a journal girly. I got my journal sitting right
Yeah.
there. I've been journaling since I was a child. I've always
Yeah.
had a journal my entire life. I
Yeah.
love meditations. I love talking to fucking trees. I love all of that shit.
Yeah, you do.
But none of that's going to do anything for me if
Yeah.
I'm just sitting there in a standstill. The only thing that's going to work is if I'm actually putting in the effort, putting in the action. And it goes back to what I was saying before. A lot of people
Yeah.
are afraid to put in effort because
Yeah.
they're afraid of people seeing that they put in effort and not getting a result because of it. Because God forbid I do a 4-week launch and I make the biggest deal about it and no one buys. That would be so embarrassing. That would be oh my God, I'm going to be cringe. My audience is going to think I'm a loser. Then they're
Mm,
definitely not going to want to buy. Like, again, spiraling into these fictional
mm,
stories just to avoid doing the actual work. And I
yeah.
hate to be that person who's like, you just got to do the fucking work. But no, you got to do the fucking work. Like, you just have to take action. You're never, especially with sales, visibility, sales, marketing, whatever, the only way you're going to get better at it is just doing it. Like, I remember when I was in my corporate sales job, going into those first appointments with a potential client on my own, feeling nervous in my delivery, in my pitch. I was probably awkward. I was probably fumbling over my words, and I was probably shaking in my boots while I was in front of these people, but I did it. And then
Mm,
guess what? The next one was easier. And then the next one was easier. And then the next one is easier. And it's the same thing with visibility. It's the same thing with sales
mm,
in your business. It's literally like the more you do it, the less of a big deal it becomes. Think
that's
about
true.
anything in your life. If you've been like, think about anything in your life you've been putting off and you're just it's eating you, right? Because you know
Mm,
you've been putting it off. And so constantly you're thinking of it and you're like, oh, but I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And it's literally the definition of making a mountain out of a molehill. It's like this little action that you had to take, but the more you avoid it, the bigger it gets and the bigger it gets and the bigger it gets. And it's taking up more mind space and more mind space and more mind space until
yeah.
finally you get so fucking annoyed with yourself that you just do the damn thing. And then you do the damn thing and you're like, wait, that was really easy. Why did I
Yeah.
just not do that for 6 months? Like, I mean, how many of us can say that we've done that? I can say for plenty of things in my life that
Yeah.
I do. I still do that with other areas of my life too. But it's that
Mm,
situation. It's like you're making a bigger deal out of things than they actually are when you avoid doing them. Just like me getting visible and thinking all of these negative thoughts that could happen. They're not guaranteed to happen. It's literally a freaking maybe. And I'm sitting here making the biggest deal, going on a freaking spiral over it. And then I just take the action and I get more visible. And I'm like, wait, this is great. This is helping my business. This is benefiting me. This is giving me more data. It's giving me more feedback. It's getting me more sales. It's getting in front of more people. Like, how can I not just keep doing this thing too? And
yeah.
so it's really just like kind of turning it into a habit, just something that you do. I don't wake up every day and think, shit, I got to sell today. I just wake up and I'm like, Sales Baddie and da 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 da. Like, I'm not even thinking about it. I'm just like, go. I'm not thinking about getting visible and like, oh my God, I have to create a post and it has to be this. I'm like, okay, what do I want to say today? Boom, let's go post, move
Yeah.
on with my day. And I literally just have like, hey, these are your requirements. You know that you need to do this, you know that you need to do this, and you know that you need to do that. And as long as you do those things that you are in control of, you can't worry about the effect. You can't worry about, I made this post today and I didn't make a sale. It's not about that. It's, I made this post today. I did what was required of me. Now it's up to my
Yeah.
audience to respond, but I've done everything that I needed to do. And
Yeah.
so every single day in my business and in my life, I'm not stressing of, did I do enough? Do I need to do more? Because I have my own mental checklist of like, no, you posted this today and you shared
Mm,
your offer this many times today. You got your link out. You sent this email today. Cool. Like I just said to you, I'm like, my day's done after this
yeah.
podcast because I've already done everything that I needed to do. And if I want to do anything else, then that's a bonus. But I know that I've done everything that's required of me. And now it's just up to my audience to respond. Now it's just time for me to receive because I know that I've put in the effort that I need to put in to get my results. And this goes back to the control that I spoke
Yeah.
to you about. This is how I give myself that control. This is how I create more space for myself
Yeah.
within my business because then I can switch off. Like, I turn my phone off at like by 7 o'clock every single night.
Wow.
So I'm not on social media. So I'm not refreshing anything. So I'm not attached to my business. So I'm literally hanging out with my husband, having conversations with him, watching Love Island, sitting on my
Mm.
couch watching reality TV, just like literally building intentional space where I can switch off. But I can switch off because I've done what was required of me for
Yeah.
the day. So I
Yeah.
can turn that phone off, rest assured that it's enough, I'm enough, we're good.
Exactly that. And I think it's like the yin and the yang energy, the feminine and the masculine. The masculine is
Mm-hmm.
in the doing, the creation, like that Aries energy, and the feminine is almost like that Piscean energy that you
Yeah.
have. And I'm
Receiving.
right receiving, and I make more sales. It's because of the compounded effect of the doing too. But when I
Yes,
sleep,
you
and I
need both.
yeah, you
Yes.
need both. And then you
Yeah.
wake up and you're like, oh well shit, people will be like joining up and doing the things while you sleep. So you really do need I've got to be better at that space. I like that you turn your phone off at 7 p.m. I'm definitely not the fuck there yet.
And I know for some people, like you probably can't do that for other
Whatever
reasons, like,
reason. I could.
family or things like that.
Right.
Like that's not reasonable for everyone. But like
Yeah.
that's just a boundary that I have for myself because I know like I'll pick up my phone because it's a
Yeah.
habit and I'll start scrolling and like then I'm thinking about business stuff. It's like, no, I have to create intentional space where I switch off from business too. And I
Mm.
can rest assured in that intentional space as long as I know what I've done, what was required of me every day. But the problem is that a lot of people don't know what's required of them. They don't have that mental checklist like I have. They're still wondering, does this work? And if I do this, will it work? I know down to a T, down to the week, what works. I'm
Mm.
looking at my numbers every week and saying, this
Mm.
worked. Let's double down on it. This worked. Let's leverage it. This didn't really work that well. Let's either tweak it or maybe we just don't do that anymore. And so I'm
Yeah.
always knowing that what I'm doing is intentional. And I literally feel it like I can wake up one day and be in really shitty energy and not be feeling that great and be kind of like, stuck. And then I just get back in my rhythm because I know that I need to do what I need to do. And I just start doing the thing. And that builds belief in myself. That builds trust. And that shifts my energy. Again, it's not in the journal. I shift my energy way more just by doing the things than I do sitting in my journal talking about what I am or am not doing. And so
Yeah.
that's what people need to have. They need to understand what is actually required of them, how to look at their numbers and respond to that, how to leverage what's already going on for you to understand what's going to work for you. So then everything you do is intentional and aligned, and everything you do, you know what it's creating for you. You know that it's going to work for you. And that's when you're
Mm.
feeling confident, you're feeling clear. And then that's when you can rest assured that I've done enough, I am enough, we're good.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love it. Exactly that. And because you've done enough. And that's all you can ask of yourself. And I think we're so busy. I see with clients as well, when they're so too in the masculine energy, that's when they're
Mm-hmm.
hustling, 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 and nothing's happening. It's either because you've pedestalized the sale or the money, which I was also guilty of because you get so like
Yeah,
desperate and then
everyone's guilty of that.
yeah, and then you just need to take it off the pedestal. Like even this last week, I was like, shit, like the fucking course is not selling. What the fuck? And then yesterday I was like, I'm taking it off the pedestal. Like I care, but I need to take it off
Yeah,
the pedestal. And then I
yeah.
realized there's a tech fucking failure that's it's not processing on my thing.
Exactly. But honestly, you probably wouldn't have been able to figure that out if you were so like, well,
Yeah,
you're stressed about making the sales. And then
yeah,
the second you chilled out, you're like, wait,
yeah,
pay attention to this. Oh,
yeah,
tweak that. Oh,
yeah.
now it's working.
Right.
It's
And
like
and then
that
you make a
simple.
sale.
And that's actually something that they used to say in my corporate sales job was like, stay a 5. Don't be a 0 when you have a hard day, but also don't get too like caught up and be on a level 10 and be like having this like kind of chaotic energy. Like try your best. And we cannot always do this, right? I cannot always do
Right.
this, but try your best to just like stay neutral, because when you're more neutral, that's when you're going to make better decisions. That's when you're
Yeah,
going to have a clear head. That's when you're going to actually make aligned decisions instead of just like,
yeah,
let me just try this because it might make a sale. Let me just fucking slap a $200 off of my offer and try to make a sale. Like when
yeah.
we're actually at that neutral point, that's when we can actually look at things and
Yes.
not look at things with bias. Just look at them as,
Mm,
hey, these are the numbers. This is the data. This is the facts that's right in front of me. And let me take this information and let me leverage it and like utilize it and pay attention to what's working and what's not working and refine and tweak things from there. Like that's literally what it's all about. But so
yeah.
many people are so caught up in learning other people's processes that they never even look at their own fucking shit and they never figure out what is or what is not going to work for them.
Yeah.
And like that's literally why I do what I do, because like that actually just pisses me off. It's like
Yeah.
you can't just be implementing all of these strategies but never looking at your own business. And like your business coach can't tell you what your numbers are. Like only you
Mm.
can look at that information, only you can look at that data, only you can look at those numbers. And if you have a business coach and you're reliant on, here's the numbers, send them to them, tell me what to do. Who's in control of your business? Your business coach. What happens if that coach stops their business? Then you're fucked. Then you got to find the
Mm.
next person to outsource your power to. Like, no, I want you to be in that coaching space because you want to be in that coaching space, not
Yeah.
because you're reliant on that person for you to be successful. I want you to be successful on your own. And I
Yeah.
want to give you the strategies, the resources, the tools, knowledge, skill, understanding to be successful on your own, to understand your own business and to adapt your strategy and your sales approach based on that.
Yes, 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 yes. I think so. You see so many people with the same sort of strategies. You can tell they've all learned from the same person instead of adding new ones.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I love astrology for the shit too, because it's literally like you've got your own path
Yeah.
in there. And I was like,
Yeah.
for me, I was missing a critical piece. I was like, I've got the content, I've got the numbers, but like I didn't have conversion. And I think for me, what really helped with Sales Baddie was helping me then bridge what was in my astrology and what everything was saying. So I
Yeah.
come from a marketing background, but I don't come from a conversion sales. I
Yeah.
say conversion because the marketing speak.
Yeah. You're like, I can get in front of people,
Yes,
but
I couldn't.
yeah.
Oh,
And
fucking,
that makes
I
sense because you do have like kind of a larger following and stuff too across like your different social platforms. And that's actually such a common problem too, is there's a lot of people who are really good marketers and they have huge followings. Like I have people in Sales Baddie who have like 200K followers, but they're in Sales Baddie for the same reason. They need to work on sales. They don't know how to convert that audience to
right.
the best of their ability. Whereas then you have other people, even like me, who has, I have 5,000 followers, but frankly, I consider that a small audience compared to other audiences out there. But my
Right.
conversion rate is crazy. Like how
Right.
rapid people find me and buy from me. I mean, pretty sure you bought Sales Baddie the day that you followed me. You probably bought it before you even
Literally.
followed me. And so
Yeah.
it's like it's being able to create that kind of buyer's atmosphere
Mm,
within your business. And like you said, it's like you had all of these things working for you. So now in Sales Baddie, we're like, hey, this is working. Let's make it even better. Let's fill in any of those
yep.
missing gaps to take what's working, amplify it, but also figure out what's not and fill those gaps and make it even better.
Oh, it's so true. And what you were saying as well about how you can apply it to different things. Because first I tried it out, my 90-minute sessions, sold those, and I was like, okay, let's try a course. And now it's working for the course. And I'm like, yeah, it literally fucking works. It's like this methodology works. And then my next big goal is to then sell, because I didn't start high package like you, so high
Yeah.
ticket. So I really want to sell like 10K packages, but eventually 100K, because I don't want to be
Yeah.
doing smaller numbers. I want millions, right, to like fund all these
Yeah.
crazy ideas that I have. And I'm like, I feel like it could work for any amount, and that's what you're
It
saying.
it does, and that's why this conversation of like, no, you can't sell high ticket and low ticket the same
Mm,
way, or you can't do this. I'm like, my husband has a multiple seven figure a year business and revenue. He
mm,
has single clients, and he's not in coaching, he's not a service provider or anything like that. Like he has a business, they have more overhead costs and things like that. But he has single clients who are paying them $1 million a year, very high ticket. And like
yeah,
still he's following a very similar sales process to what I teach. Me and my husband are both entrepreneurs and we're both in sales. We both came from the sales background. Like that's my husband has a business partner and his business partner does more of the operational, and my husband is the salesperson. He does the sales. He gets them in front of
ooh,
people. He closes the people. And so we do similar things in completely different ways. And we are constantly having conversations about sales and about business. And we're constantly having conversations about how we take a similar approach, but in different ways. And it's
yeah,
because we both have the skill set under the approach. And that's what matters more than anything. And that is the biggest gap that I see with online entrepreneurs as a whole is they have this understanding of sales, they have an understanding of the strategy, but they don't have that skill set underneath it to make it their own and allow it to transfer across anything that they do and to have it give them that control.
yes. And control is it for so many women when in a society that's really taken and is taking so much of that, the control away. Like I
Mm-hmm.
feel like this is how we get it back. But like one of the things that I've noticed with people, I don't know if you've seen this in your clients, is like they give such a fuck about what their friends or family or old colleagues think about on their socials. What do you say to that? Like, what's your advice around that?
I I think I have a hard time with this because I have never felt that way in my life. Like, I don't give a fuck if my friends support me or not. Like, my friends are not my potential clients. So, like,
Mm,
I don't care if they're commenting on my posts. And, like, they do because they're great people and they love me and they're proud of me. But, like, I don't care. I don't expect them to do that. I don't care if they do that or not. I don't expect my family to do that. Like, my family is not my clients. My friends are not my clients. They're not the people I'm trying to get in front of. They're not the people I'm trying to sell to. So, like, why would I care? When I first started my business, I remember one of my friends being like, well, I don't really understand what you do. And I'm like, well, I don't really understand what you do. I
right.
don't know what your fucking job is. Like, I don't actually understand half of my friends' jobs. I've been friends with
Mm.
some of these people for like 20 years. And I'm like, wait, so what do you do again? Like, and so I'm like, why would it matter just because I'm a business owner? Like, I'm just so bought into my vision and doing my thing. And it's funny because I've always kept the two things separate. So
Right.
I have a personal Instagram account, I have a business account, even though my business account now is Cailin Tokarczyk, it's my name. That's my business account. I have a personal account where I'll post stupid shit on my stories and stuff like that. I honestly hardly post on that account. I'm very bad about doing that. But that's like for friends and family and stuff like that. But sometimes I'll take my business content, I'll share it there. And it'll be funny because then I'll have a random person who doesn't even own a business reach out to me and be like, wow, this is so inspiring. Like, I listened to this, I love this. Or maybe they're starting a business and they'll reach out to me. And so it's kind of like that affirmation of like, even though maybe these people aren't in business, to see someone go after what they want and to build something from the ground up is so powerful.
Mm.
And for the people who don't get that, I'm not concerned about them because they're not a visionary like me. So why would I care about their opinion when I don't want their life? I don't want their results. I don't have their mindset. I don't look at the world the same way that they look at the world. So why would I dull down myself to appease someone that I just don't care? You know what I mean? And so I have a hard time with like, how can you get caught up in this stuff? Like, how can you be worried about what these people think and stuff like that? And like, genuinely, if they're judging you so much, fuck them. Like, if you have a partner that is not supportive of you, I am the first person who would be like, you better cut that man off, cut that woman off, cut that person off, like get
Yeah.
them the fuck out of here. Like, I would
Yeah.
never be with someone who doesn't believe in me and back me like I back my fucking self. Like, I don't want friends who are going to sit there and judge me, or even family members. And if I did, I would fucking block their asses or like
Right.
hide them. Like, I'm not concerned about them. They're not paying my bills. Like, why would I waste my time with this when it's not going to benefit me? It's
Very
only going
funny.
to be a distraction. And it's almost like people kind of use that as an excuse
Yeah.
to be, because it is a distraction. And so then it becomes an excuse. And so it's like, if that's a problem for you, there's an immediate fix. Block that person, hide
Yes.
that person, like just get that energy away from you, then cut that person off, like get that energy away from you then, if that's the case. And then, you know what, on another note, there's this other argument that's like, well, if you want to be successful, it's about the 5 people that you hang out with the most, and you need to be around entrepreneurs. I don't think that. I have amazing friends who are never going to be entrepreneurs, who are going to work in corporate their whole lives, or even be a stay at home mom and do their thing. And I love that for them. And I
Yeah.
love them for who they are, not what they do for a work. Like, that's why
Mm-mm.
they're in my life, for who they are as a human being,
Yeah.
not for how they make an income and provide for themselves. And so I think it's like, I think people really get too caught up in that. Like, I am around people who are supportive of me. I'm
Yeah.
around people who have seen my journey from a young age to now. And I don't wouldn't associate myself with other people. Like, I had a friend who was very judgmental of my business and who was constantly comparing us and would say things to me like, well, it's just so easy for you because, like, you have something that you love and that you want to do. And like, I don't have that for myself. And I would be like, figure it out if that's what you want to do. If that's what you want and you want to be an entrepreneur, then you're going to figure it out and you're going to try 27 different things until you figure it out. But like,
Right.
don't just sit here and complain about not having something that you're not willing to work for. And like, me and that
Yes.
person are not friends anymore. You know what I mean? Like, it's like,
Mhm.
if you have that draining energy in your life, you can't sit there and complain about it. You need to do something about it. Just like I
Yeah.
said before about getting visible, you have to take actual action, whether it's a conversation with that person, whether it's cutting that person off, or whether it's just blocking them from your business page because that energy is getting in your way. Like, it's still up to you, and it's your responsibility to not let anything get in your way, because an entrepreneur does not let anything get in their way. They don't let anyone else's opinion get in their way. I know there's people who judge me. I make silly freaking videos that I post online where I'm like shaking ass and just like having fun, and I'm being goofy.
Yeah.
I posted one today where I had no makeup on. I had like just woken up. My face was puffy. I was like crying. I'm like, I just don't care, because I'm just
Yeah.
me. And I spent way too much of my life feeling like I couldn't be me. And
Right.
now I'm just want to be me. And I
Yeah.
want to show other people that we can be ourselves, and we can put ourselves out there, and it can be fun, and we can do what we want to do, and we can build these incredible lives, and like just enjoy what we're doing. Because if I was worried about people's judgment, I wouldn't make the videos like I make. I wouldn't make funny dancing videos. I wouldn't have a good time with my marketing. I would be hiding myself behind Canva templates. And I honestly was doing that for a bit in my business. And like literally this year, getting back into creating content in a way that I actually like creating content is so fun, and
Yeah.
it's so light, and it's like I've given myself more permission to just be myself and like not care what people think, because if they're judging me, then fuck them. Then you're getting in my way. Then you can see yourself out. Then you can block me. Then
Yes.
you can unfollow me. Like, I don't give a shit. And
Yeah.
if you're going to be here watching and hating me at the same time, baby, enjoy the show.
Yes. Get in the front row. Get in the front row.
Yeah, enjoy the freaking show, because
Yes.
like that is only going to benefit me too, because you're just giving me attention. So
Yeah.
thank you.
And there's a currency in that. The algorithms respond to that. So thank you, Tina.
So thank you. Exactly. So if you're feeling like that, stop worrying about them and literally talk to yourself about how you are getting in your own way and what you need to do about it, because it's not about them. This is a you versus you thing. It's not you versus them. It's always you versus you.
So true. And that's like the most Leo thing that was ever said, ever. That's like the thing. And that's the theme. And that's the point of life, to be more of yourself and share that with the world.
Yes,
So you give
that
hope
is
people.
literally the point of life,
Yeah.
is self-discovery, is like literally just being curious and figuring out who you are and
Yes.
reconnecting to who you really are. Like me
Right.
doing those dancing videos, if you go
Yes.
back on my page,
I
I
love
posted
them.
one where I was like 8 years old and I'm like dancing like crazy. I'm like, this is who I am. This is who I've always been. I used to always make up dance routines. I used to always make up skits. I used to perform in front of my family. I did
You.
cheerleading and I was in the center for all of the dances. Like, I
Mm.
like attention. I like doing these things. I like having fun with it and just being playful and listening to music and making that part of my strategy. And in doing that, and in just like creating content the way I want to create it, presenting myself to the world in a very authentic way where it's like, who you see on social media is me. Like,
Yeah.
not my entire story, obviously. It's not all of the nuances, all of the depth. Like, no one's ever really going to understand all of that anyway, besides myself. Maybe my husband a little bit, but mostly just me. But
Mm.
it's still me. My personality is the same. And so if someone sees me online and the way that I speak, that's the same person that they're going to get in person. And I've
Yeah.
literally had online friends who I've met and they're like, oh my God, you're literally like the same as you are online. And I'm like, yeah, like how could I not be? Like, that's the fun of it. And the fun of being yourself is giving other people permission to be themselves. I don't want people to do silly dancing videos and shake their ass like me. I want them to do whatever they want to do. I want them to have fun
Mm.
doing what they're doing. And it might be in a completely different way,
Mm.
but allowing your audience to see you present yourself that way, whether they buy from you or not, it gives them permission to be themselves, but also builds a relationship with them because it allows them to see who you actually are. And that is part of sales in itself, building that relationship, building that rapport, sharing something about
Mm.
myself, something silly, even the kind of music that I like. And people say, I like that kind of music too. I like to dance with that too. I think that's
Yeah.
funny too. And then they build a relationship with me and they feel like they know me even more because of it. So, like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's the part of me just being me, but like also you being you benefits your business too, of course,
Yeah.
when we have the strategy and system under it to really benefit ourselves.
Yes, yes, I love it. And final question. If you had a billboard with one message for, let's say, women in particular, what would it say? What would you want them to know?
If it was just women in particular, it would just say claim your fucking space.
Okay, okay, okay. There's the
Any
word.
room, anywhere, anytime, make yourself fucking known. Like, get yourself out there, like command the attention, like advocate for yourself, speak up for yourself, say what you believe in, like back your fucking self no matter who you're in front of, where
Yes.
you're in front of them. Just claim your fucking space because it's yours for the taking.
Yes, 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 yes. Thank you. That is amazing. And where can people find you? How do they become part of Sales Baddie?
They can find me on Instagram, on threads at Cailin Tokarczyk. I'm sure you'll put the full name somewhere so I don't have to spell it out for everyone. And you can go right into my link in bio there, and you can either get on the waitlist for Sales Baddie, or when doors are open, you can join us inside of Sales Baddie, get immediate access, and start taking control over your sales, your income, and your results right now.
Yes, I can say it will change your fucking business, bitches. Get on
And
it,
your
get on
life
it.
because of it.
Your life, your freedom, your mentality, your happiness,
Yes,
all of the above, all of the above. Thank
all
you
of
so
it.
much for being here and being for like the most Leo energy that's ever Leo'd.
I love it. Thank you for having me. It was so much
Thank
fun.